Hi there, my name is Ron Rogers, and this presentation is titled, You Will Never Fly Aerobatics Again, or at least for another month. Now, I had one individual say, well, why do you say that? Because you can look right up here. There it is. You can look right up here and read it. Well, this is for my constituents, the blind who may not hear, or the deaf who may not see. And I actually have one individual who actually listens to this in his car. So I mean, he can't be reading his phone in the car, so I have to say what it is. That way that person, at least that one person, can follow along. Now, I have a slight digression here because I'm also going to talk about a moose sighting in Kansas. And you'll see how this relates. It's, I take a slight digression. And oh, by the way, I've had a number of people say they would like t-shirts that say that. So I'm having some made up that say, but I digress. And then it has my YouTube channel, Ron Rogers, on it. So when I figure out how to do product lines, that will show up. Okay, the nuns never liked me. They said I was never going to amount to anything. They said I'd be a service station attendant. Now, I have a fairly old audience here, so you know what that is. That's the person who'd come out and put the gas in your car. Not being you now. That's who the attendant is now. But they put gas in your car, and they'd wash your window. Okay, well, that was really a dead-end job back then, and of course it doesn't exist anymore, so it's a really dead-end job. Okay, here's my airplane. It pretty much still looks like this. They told me they've moved it around the hangar a little bit. But I got a call. I get a call every Friday from Janelle, very nice lady at Waco, very nice young lady. And she told me that they now have the paint for my center section scheduled for April 11th. And I should get the airplane ready to fly by April 22nd. Now, for those of you who remember this saga, it first came out at Oshkosh last year, and I was not happy. This was kind of dumped in my lap. It came out as a service bulletin because of rib cracking in the center section, not to fly aerobatics. Well, it's a service bulletin. You don't have to pay attention to that. That's really nice. But, you could have the guy who got all D's in his lawyer school at Waxahachie Falls, Minnesota Law School, who could still win a case if you went up and caused damage to anybody flying an airplane that they said, you better not fly aerobatics. Of course, the FAA got involved, and now it's an AD, so you will comply with this. And fortunately and very nicely, Waco is covering the cost of this repair for all their aircraft that they produce that fall into this, because it's the old thing of, you fix one thing and you got another problem somewhere else. They strengthened up the center section because there had been some problems. That's where you have your fuel, so there's a lot of weight there. And they beefed it up. Of course, loads can be a funny thing. You fix something somewhere and you transfer loads somewhere else, and they got into a little bit of problem with the ribs, so they had to reinforce those. So here's my wing section. They rebuilt it, they recovered it, and of course now they have to paint it. So it's up there. I'm all excited. It's been there all winter, and I'm waiting for my airplane. All of a sudden, I see this. That's my airplane. They've got it for sale. They didn't tell me they were going to sell my airplane while it was in storage up there. Oh my gosh, you can't do that. And the interesting thing is, when they got a new CEO, he kind of discovered that they were producing these airplanes below cost. I got mine for around $300,000, and it was the upgraded model too. And they figured out that was kind of below cost, so they had to raise the price. But they're not really selling my airplane. I'm just kidding there. But that is my airplane, the KR, you can see. But they're just using it as stock footage, and they got some of my cockpit views here. But it's very important that I get this aircraft back. It provides a very important service as the Dawn Patrol here in northern Illinois. Now, we have an issue here in northern Illinois. Now, we have these people to the north, the Canadians. Now, well, we love the Canadians, but, they talk kind of funny, eh? And they have these big, hairy, brown things up there called moose. Now, as I mentioned, there was a moose sighting in Kansas, and I'll mention that in just a second. But let me cover the currency up there. You see the loon, okay? There's the loon up there. Now, okay. We have the eagle, and I mean the eagle is a cool national bird. It's a lot better than the duck, although initially they were talking about, maybe we should have a turkey as the national symbol, and thank goodness that didn't go very far. But okay, even that would have been a little bit better than a duck. I mean, a loon, you call your money loonies. Oh my gosh. We all know what a duck is. That's a waterproof chicken with a kazoo. Okay. Well, but anyway, I mean, the Canadian people are nice, and they have these big hairy things called moose. Well, when I lived in Wichita, Kansas, back then they had a rule that you could, if you were from the outside and you weren't a member of one of the clubs, you had to be a club member to buy a second drink, and it cost anywhere from $10 to $100. And all the clubs were reciprocal, so you bought the cheapest one, and it worked everywhere. But anyway, you couldn't get a second drink. So this woman writes into the Wichita Eagle Beacon, and she talks about how you have a wonderful state here. She was driving down the highway coming into Wichita, going through Kansas, and she saw moose, elk, and deer. And she published the letter about how terrible it was that she could not get a second drink. She wasn't going to shell out the $10 or more to get a second drink, and how terrible that was. Well, the editor responded that, lady, if you are seeing moose in Kansas, you don't need a second drink. Now, one other thing is, of course, you need to know, we need to defend America against foreign adversaries. Now, the Canadians aren't our adversaries. They're our dear friends. In fact, I used to fly there quite often as an airline pilot. And one time I went there for a meeting, and I didn't bring my passport. And the guy looks at me and goes, "Where's your passport?" And I go, "Oh, I'm used to flying here so much as a crew member, I didn't need it for that." This is pre 9/11. Okay, you're going, what do you mean you didn't have a passport? It's pre 9/11. Things were more open. And he says, well, where's your ID? So I showed him my airline ID, and he says, "Okay, next time, bring your passport. You don't own the country yet." Okay, guy. But anyway, okay, we're Americans, but we got these other people in North America. We got the Canadians and the Mexicans, and they don't like that we kind of just think it's just us. And of course, you got that whole country down south, South America. So, it's a little uncanny or uncouth to just refer to us as Americans. But anyway, I digress. But all right, now let's continue on with other threats from the north. All right, so Canada isn't directly north of Illinois. We have this buffer state called Wisconsin. Well, we have to protect our borders from them too, because they have this. They got this football team up there, and we actually have some people in Illinois who actually will wear these Green Bay Packers shirts. And I mean, that's just. I mean, come on, guys, you're near Chicago here. We need to keep the Green Bay Packers at bay up there in Green Bay. So I also need to defend the skies against the surge of the Green Bay Packers. But the thing is, who wouldn't love the Bears? That is just, the Bears are the best football team in existence. And you Green Bay people, you just stay up there, and I'll defend the skies and keep our Bears down here for us. So anyway, I want to get back to my airplane, get back flying aerobatics, get back having a fun time. Now, I've had some people mention, they go, "Okay, you're retired now. How do you afford these toys?" Okay, well, how do you afford a Great Lakes biplane and a nice Turbo 310R and a vet and stuff like that? Well, it's very simple, and I'll give you the best financial advice anybody can give you. And that's what a captain told me when he gave me this financial advice. He'll give me the best financial advice anybody can give you. That is, stay married to your first wife. That will save you so much money. Oh, I didn't have a picture of my boat. I have a boat too. A boat is just a hole in the water that you throw money in. It's just as bad as airplanes. Okay, so if you keep your first wife, you can save a lot of money. And then there's one other tip I'm going to show you. It's very, very important. Box wine. Any good commuter airline young pilot not making a lot of money will tell you about how great box wine is. I mean, I get it for $3.99 a bottle equivalent. And the thing about box wine, there's a lot of advantage to it because You get a bottle. Okay, you sit down with your friend, you got a bottle of wine. You sit there, you pour a couple glasses, and the bottle gets empty. And you're going, well, maybe we had enough to drink there. But with box wine, I mean, these things come in like the equivalent of like 3 bottles. So you sit there, you just open the tap and you get your glass and you go back. You know, unless the box goes empty, then you know you've probably been drinking a little too much. But anyway, cheap wine, you get by, save you a lot of money. You save you so much money that you can afford your toys. So here's my center section. It's all ready to go. They just need to paint it. So hopefully in just a little bit over a month, I should have my airplane back, and I can show some videos of it and stuff like that. Now, I posted some videos about flying aerobatics, and just so you don't get the wrong idea, those were videos that I had before the Service Bulletin AD came out. I've not flown any aerobatics. I'm not stupid, okay? I've not flown any aerobatics in the airplane since that time. I just went to little fly-ins and just went flying patterns and stuff like that. And if you're a conventional gear guy, tail dragger guy, you can never fly too many patterns, and they're fun anyway. So that's my story. That's my update. Hopefully I'll get back flying soon and be able to post some videos, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.